Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Art Whisperer 88. I am continuing my theme on tessellations today, and I'm going to show you a different way. I'm going to use my index cards to make a pattern. So these are 1-inch squares on my cutting board. I'm going to cut this index card into a 3-inch square, 3 inches long, 3 inches wide. And I like using this index card because it's tinted like a peach color, so you can clearly see it. Okay, so this is 3 inches this way and 3 inches that way. So now I'm going to do a tessellation, which is called a rotational tessellation, in which you rotate the shape to make it interlock with each other. So I have been playing around with shapes for a while, and it's not as easy as it looks. So I came up with this one. I also cross-reference it with some other YouTube videos. Okay. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So what I'm trying to do is create kind of like a leaf shape. So we'll cut this out. Trying to make it as curvy as possible. Okay. So this, now the reason why it's called rotational, this will be the rotating point right here, this corner. You rotate this cutout. You rotate it like you would the hands of a clock. And then you go like that. And then you tape this. Okay. I'll just fold over the excess tape and press this down. And then the same, I will cut this. Okay. Now this shape, this will be the rotational point. So this will rotate like that, rotate it, and like so. Again, I will tape this. This is the hard part, is to get it to line up. So here is my shape. Kind of looks like a lizard. So what I'm going to do is replicate this shape. I'm going to use other index cards to cut out the same shape, and I will show you how these interlock to each other. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to show you how this shape interlocks. And I'm using a Sharpie pen so you can see the outline on camera. I'll do my best to trace this as accurately as I can, so my hands are not as steady as they used to be. Okay, so there's your shape. Now the reason why it's called rotational is the only way this will interlock is to turn it around until you find the fit, like so. Okay, so let me trace that. Okay, and then I'll do this top. So the shape just keeps spinning around, and that's why it's called rotational. There, so you have an idea. So this can go on infinitely. Until you complete the entire page. I'm not going to do that. I just want to show you a section of it that interlocks together like a jigsaw puzzle. So at least you have an idea what a rotational tessellation is. Okay. So you have an idea of what the concept is about. So I will interpret this on a gel plate. So it takes a lot of cutting, but I think it's worth it. The resulting pattern is going to be very interesting. And this is inspired by the great mathematician, artist M.C. Escher. He has made a huge impression on me when I was able to see his one-man exhibit here in Brooklyn a few years ago. So I'll be back in a few minutes while I cut out these shapes. In the meantime, I have two very talented viewers who submitted their artwork for everyone to share. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that little intermission with our very talented viewer submissions. Anyway, this is what happens when I cut out that shape and I did every other piece. I call them lizards because they do look like lizards, and it appears that they are kissing, so maybe I can title this Kissing Lizards. So I did every other shape and cut them out on Bristol. Now I didn't have any plastic sheet that's big enough, so I had to tape two sheets of 8 by 11 together to get this continuous pattern. As you can see, this is how the repeat goes, and it just goes on and on. And to be honest with you, I got tired of cutting. It's very tedious work. That's why I did it off camera. So I didn't want to bore you guys. Anyway, so now that this is set up on the plate, I will apply Mars Black, because I think this design or pattern is more effective when you have high contrast colors. So maybe black and perhaps white or yellow on the second layer. So here is my Mars Black, and I will just apply hope that's enough. I have my limitations because I don't have a cardstock that is larger than 12 by 14. So you're going to see the edge of the Bristol. I hope you don't mind. Now, had I wanted this to be a more permanent design, I would do this on a large sheet of acetate, but I don't have any at the moment, so I'm just going to do this temporary measure since it is semi experimental. But I think this is as close as I can get to M.C. Escher's concept, because his work really is very complex and amazing. And this is like a poor man's version of it. But the whole point is just to explain the concept to you. Okay, so I think I have all the pieces. Now what I'm going to do is air dry this and then apply a second layer of paint. So don't go away. Okay, I decided I'm going to use pink. This is peach pink. And this is Indian yellow. I will do the pink on the bottom. Now I'm not using the nozzle because sometimes the nozzle contains dried paint and it's very annoying. And I'm going to do the Indian yellow on the top. Okay. So I'm doing my best not to disturb the first layer underneath. Now I have to admit this is a heavy application of paint. Most of you might think this is way too much, but I'd rather use too much than too little. Now, just to break up the monotony of the pattern, I'm going to introduce some random marks here. Again, this is my Richardson watercolor paper, which I have cut in half. So it is 15 by 22, because the whole sheet is 22 by 30. And since I do so much printmaking, I purchase it in bulk, so it's much cheaper. I'll put a link to the vendor. Now, this is not a paid advertising, but I do want to share my sources of materials. Okay, so we'll leave this on for about 5 minutes because I'm trying to pick up the first layer, which is the tessellated pattern. Okay, let's see what we got here. This is really exciting. I hope it doesn't tear on me. I'm holding my breath. It seems like most of the black has transferred. Oh. Check this out. It's totally unintended result, but it's pretty dramatic. So it's not merely a pattern, it's a piece of artwork with some composition and some interest. So anyway, I will air dry this and recap. Okay, everybody. I took a long, good, hard look at this piece, and I'm not satisfied with it. To be honest, I am a little annoyed at myself because I put too much paint on the bottom. But I think there's a workaround for this. I can still see the outline of the shape here. I'll call it a lizard. And I have these cutouts, which I might as well make use of. So I think that will work there. And the same thing with these. I have several of these. I'll put that here, just to do a counterpoint to the black on the top. Now I could still keep going because I still have other pieces, but I think 2 is enough. I don't want to try too hard to correct this. So I'm going to use Mod Podge. This time I will use Mod Podge straight out of the bottle because this is cardstock. So So this is a workaround. Now I will just cut this. So that the edge is straight. So by adding this collage piece, it becomes a mixed media. Okay, so I will let that dry and I will recap when everything is dry. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay everybody, here's the recap. This has dried nicely and I was able to apply the collage with the cut out pieces of Bristol. So let me just show you a close-up. As you can see, there's a lot of texture where the first layer did not transfer completely, but I think it adds a lot of interest. So by doing it on a Gelli plate, I transform it from a simple pattern to something beyond that. It's more of an art piece because it shows the process and it incorporates the elements of the process. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share this with your friends, give me a thumbs up, and do pay a visit to artwhisper88.com, which is my storefront, and any donations and or sales will help to keep my channel going. And thank you for all the very talented contributors to the open call. Please keep them coming. I think we are a growing community of artists and we need to support each other. So thank you once more, and I hope to see you next time.